Now, today, in response to a previous question by Senator Cardin, you said sanctions are a powerful tool. But you have made statements and given speeches where you have said you do not believe sanctions are a useful tool. So if sanctions are not a useful tool, have you changed your view? What are the tools of peaceful diplomacy you will use to get countries to return and act within the international order? What are you going to say to Vladimir Putin when he says to you, but Rex, you said sanctions were bad?
Senator, I think it's important to acknowledge that when sanctions are imposed, they by their design are going to harm American business. That's the idea, is to disrupt America's business engagement in whatever country is being targeted for sanctions. And so broadly,
I don't think it's to disrupt American business. I think it's to disrupt the economies of those countries. Now, American business may or may not be affected to some degree.
American business, if America is going to have an influence on disrupting those economies, then the intent behind the sanctions is to disrupt that country's access to American business investment, money flows, technology, and all
our
the
financial sectors.
Correct.
Our financial sector.
So by its very, and I'm only stating a fact, I'm not debating it, but the fact is sanctions, in order to be implemented, do impact American business interest. In protecting America's interest, and I think this is where the President-elect would see the argument as well, is sanctions are a powerful tool. Let's design them well, let's target them well, and then let's enforce them fully. And to the extent we can, if we can have other countries join us, or if we are designing sanctions in concert, let's ensure those sanctions apply equally everywhere. So
Well,
as U.S. interest
when
is
you
not
made your remarks, and I have a long list here, which I'll introduce for the record, you did not differentiate that way. You basically made the broad case that sanctions are not an effective tool. Now, I heard your response now, but in your opening statement, you said that, quote, America must continue to display a commitment to personal liberty, human dignity, principled action in our foreign policy, and that we are the only global superpower with the means and moral compass capable of shaping the world for good. I totally agree with you in that respect. But, Mr. Tillerson, our efforts in leading the international community, for example, on sanctions against our adversaries like Iran and North Korea, represent exactly that, leadership and a moral compass. It's not about disadvantaging American businesses. It's about putting patriotism over profit. Diplomacy is not the same as deal-making. Diplomacy requires getting other countries often to do things they may not always want to do, and there isn't necessarily something to trade for it for. This is how we were able to build an extensive and effective sanctions network against Iran, through legislation from Congress and diplomatic pressure from secretaries of state across different administrations. We were able to build the framework of primary and secondary actions that ultimately crippled Iran's economy. Now, you lobbied against the Comprehensive Iran Sanctions Accountability and Divestment Act, which I was the author of. You reportedly, under ExxonMobil, and I say you, ExxonMobil, but you were the head of ExxonMobil, wanted to eliminate secondary sanctions that would prevent joint ventures. This makes sense, as in 2003, and 2004, and 2005, you were engaged through a subsidiary company in businesses with countries who the United States listed as state sponsors of terrorism, including Iran, Syria, and the Sudan.
Hey there, thanks for checking out CNBC on YouTube. Be sure to subscribe to stay up to date on all of the day's biggest stories. You can also click on any of the videos around me to watch the latest from CNBC. Thanks for watching.